told you about the 670,000 tons of aid and more than 35,000 trucks which are going in all the time. On average, daily, there are more than 100, sometimes 150, sometimes 200, even up to 400 trucks going in. They're going in mostly through Kerem Shalom. Unfortunately, the UN and specifically UNRWA have been shown to be less than truthful in their conduct of of themselves. They have shown themselves to be terribly inefficient, hopelessly inefficient, so much so that, as I've said to you, that there are more than 1,000 truckloads of aid sitting on the Gazan side, of the Kerem Shalom crossing. So that does not ring true at all. I've told you before in these briefings that more than 80% of coordination requests to deliver aid are granted by the IDF. It is our objective to get as much aid to ordinary Gazans as we possibly can, and that is precisely what we are doing. The UN have unfortunately not shown themselves to have acted I think truthfully in this conflict. In many, many ways, UNRWA in particular has been shown to have been working hand in hand with Gaza, sometimes as a front for Gaza, hiding Gaza, for Hamas, excuse me, UNRWA have been shown to be acting as a front for Hamas. And so therefore, anything they say should be really verified, and COGAT is the right address for any of those sorts of questions. Thank you. Next question, please.
Joel Pollack, Verbat News. 1. What actually are U.S. envoy Amos Hochstein's proposals to avoid war with Hezbollah? What are Israel's demands? 2. Could you comment?
Let me take that first question first. Thank you very much for that question, Joel. I think any questions regarding Amos Hochstein, the proposals, should be put to the White House. Amos Hochstein is, of course, President Biden's and the White House's envoy. Look, we want this to be resolved either diplomatically or militarily. The current state of affairs is not a sustainable reality. 5,000 rockets raining down on our north, making the north uninhabitable. This is not a sustainable reality. Either way, as we've made clear in this briefing, the people of Israel's north will be allowed to return home. This is Israeli sovereign territory, and this country will be defended. And either way, these residents will be allowed to return home. Safety and security will be restored to the people of the north and the north of this country. Next question, please.
2. Could you comment on a recent report by the UNIPC Famine Review Committee that it cannot confirm any famine in northern Gaza?
Thank you for that question, Joel. In the last couple of weeks, we have made clear, using international experts, that the whole maligning of Israel with this famine narrative has been shown to be absolutely false, incorrect, not true. There is no famine in Gaza. The amount of food that has gone into Gaza proves that fact. It is true that Hamas do loot the trucks and do sell the aid onto the black market for vastly increased prices. But what we've done to subvert that is to flood the region, flood Gaza with aid, which is precisely what we've done. We have produced a comprehensive debunking of the IPC in the past and their rhetoric of famine. If they are now saying that there won't be a famine, then it's good that they have finally seen the light. But like so many other areas of this war, it is too late. They have maligned this country with this idea of famine when nothing could be further from the truth. One would have difficulty imagining in the Second World War Allied forces getting aid into Germany and trying to support the Nazi war machine We have here in Israel got aid into Gaza because our fight is, of course, not with ordinary Gazans, although they do, sadly, it seems from latest polls, 70 or 80% of them think that what Hamas is doing, or what the Hamas did on October 7th, is a good idea. Nevertheless, our mission is to get as much aid in there as possible and ultimately to destroy Hamas, because there cannot be a new reality inside Gaza, even for ordinary Gazans, until Hamas is destroyed, because Hamas control almost everything which comes out of Gaza, and any dissent is met very harshly and deadly, with a deadly response, which is why Gazans themselves cannot be free to express their opinion until Hamas are finally destroyed. Next question, please.
Judy Cohen, WION, India. Israel has announced daily 11-hour daytime pauses in the fighting in a large area of Gaza in order to help aid distribution. Has there been any indication from Hamas that they will also abide by the pause in fighting in those areas?
Thank you for that question, Jody. I have not seen any indication that Hamas will do anything to support their people. They, of course, created this underground terror network of tunnels twice the size of the London Underground, not for the defense of their people. The recent anniversary of D-Day reminded us all of the way London dealt with the Blitz in the Second World War. So many Londoners went down into the London Underground to keep themselves safe from the German Nazi bombs. None of Gaza's civilians have been allowed that luxury. They've been kept above ground. Nothing has been done to secure them. Nothing, indeed the opposite. Hamas wants as many of their civilians to die as possible, because with the help of international media, they are pushing this line of the killing of Gazan civilians. But enlightened people, I hope, will see through this ruse. Hamas wants as many ordinary Gazans to die because they think it will improve their chances of staying in power. But we know that the only resolution for this war is the destruction of Hamas. Hamas can no longer be allowed to stay in charge of Gaza, precisely for the reason of the terrible things which they're doing to their own people, but also because they say quite openly that they wish to do October the 7th again and again and again and again, and we are here to stop them. Thank you. Next question, please.
Jim Williams, Zenger International News Service, Washington, D.C. At the G7 meeting in Italy, both President Biden and Jack Sullivan said that if asked, Sitcom is ready to help Israel should it be needed to fight the Iranian proxies in the north. Has the PM or IDF requested any backup in the north?
Thank you for that question, Jim. You're right, of course, that Iran are our enemy. They are a Islamic fascist regime, and they want the destruction of every single person in Israel. They've made that quite clear. But they're not only the enemy of Israel, they're also the enemy of the US as well. They call the US the big Satan, they call us the little Satan. So we are always working with our closest friends in the world, the US government and CEDCOM, to ensure that Israel has the edge when it comes to defending itself against Iran. You'll remember that in April, Israel worked together with its allies in the US, but also the UK, but also with France and other countries, some of them which would prefer not to be mentioned, in defeating Iran. The reason that these countries came together to repel these 350 ballistic missiles, drones, cruise missiles suicide drones. The reason that they came together is because they realized that Iran is not only the enemy of Israel, but it's also the enemy of many other countries as well, including the US. So we will always work together with our US allies. Okay, that was the last question. Please join us tomorrow for another briefing at the same time, at the same place. Thank you very much, and please do stay safe.